Hi, I'm back. I'm back with some Catholic news. All right. Um, Let me just make sure I'm on. Oh, hi. I'm so happy to be back and like just feeling better and like doing the thing again. Last week we had a good time. Let me just make sure I'm on here. Last week oh hey, how you doing? Last week we had a good time just catching up. But I'm very happy to be back with some articles to show you. As I've said, the things are cooking in the Catholic world. And as you know, I've been delayed, okay, because I am a gutter Catholic. Yes, that means that. So, what's a gutter Catholic? That means we stand for the least of these. And when necessary, we bully the bully. And we've got so much Catholic news going on in the world right now. And also, I am a soon to be divorcee. So this, I don't know how it works out. Catholic divorcee, we shall find out. Like we talked about last time, annulment absolutely possible, but whatevs. You know what? Gutter Catholics, we're not too concerned, okay, with doing things perfectly. What we're concerned with is human rights, right? The dignity of human beings and protecting the least of these, okay? Much more important than checking every single box of perfection, right? Okay. Oh, hey Randy. We are grateful for bullies who bully the bully. That's right. I got so many stories I want to share with you guys. I can't just yet, but I shall share all the stories. And I'm just happy to be here. So, like I've said, there's so much going on in the Catholic world. It's a bit hard to keep up. And so, while I am sure that this is not everything, it's the best I could do to just kind of go through and, what's going on in the news right now. And so, let me just do a quick run through. So, if you only have 10 minutes, I'll just do a quick run through and then we're going to go to each article and look at it. And I want to hear what you guys have to say. And oh yeah. And I like your comments. I needed today's stream. This is so needed that here in Michigan, we have stuff going on here close to home in Pontiac. Oh, okay. I'm glad that you're here. And also, yesterday when I did that little short on the beach where I was like, we don't have to just stress and strain over everything. And what I think, first of all, I mean, in my personal life, absolutely, we just stay as calm as possible and just go like, as a newly single mother of three minor children. I have 7 children in total, but 3 minor children who live with me. The goal here is to keep daily life as calm as possible. And as I tell my kids every day when they walk out the door to school, I just say, have an easy day. We don't need to grind through it all. And especially when it comes to Epstein files and all of this, outrage burns out quickly. Outrage, it feels effective at first, but it burns out. And so I think, what I want to do is, especially with this little community of ours, is build a community, okay, where we're in this for the long haul and we are going to take care of each other, just like people have taken care of me during this transition in my life. And we're going to keep our eyes open. We're going to keep taking care of ourselves. We're going to stay calm. And I just don't think you can go wrong with that. And of course, stand for the least of these and just keep doing this kind of thing. You know what? We meet here. It's our little clubhouse. Okay. So I wanted to show, oh, hi. Hello, Ireland. Happy to have you here. This must be really something for you guys to see from over there. You're like, I'm glad my ancestors didn't emigrate. Feeling a little jealous of you right now. Oh my goodness. Oh, hi, Carla. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much. And so let me just flip through. I've got about 9 slides just of headlines, and I just so we can get our heads around what's going on right now. Okay, so from the National Catholic Reporter. And so if you don't know, there are 2 NCRs, the National Catholic Reporter, which is the social justice side, and the National Catholic Register, which is the other side. Okay, just so you know, if you're like, What's I don't understand. I just saw them the other day and it was totally different." That's okay. Okay, so I've got all these, so I can go ahead and credit the author for each one when we go through. Fringe MAGA Catholic group crowns U.S. border czar Tom Homan as protector of America. Okay, so Tom Homan is a Catholic, and some of my work, and we'll get into this more as things go on. And I've just had a huge transition. I've just moved to the United States with my 3 minor children. I've gone through all the things. If you're reading my memoir in real time on Substack, The Gutter Catholic Goes Home. Thank you so much, by the way, for your paid subscriptions. It makes all the difference for my children and I right now. But also, you can keep up with that. But there's been a lot going on in my life. But one thing that I like to talk about is the division in the Catholic Church. And so if you are wondering, like, and especially if you're not a Catholic, or you've just been living your own life, you haven't been paying attention, you're like, what is going on? Because I've got Pope Leo saying one thing, right? We stand with immigrants. And then I've got Tom Homan, who I like to call he's kind of reminds me like a human chicken pot pie. I don't know. There's something pot pie-ish about him. No offense to pot pies. I enjoy a good pot pie. In fact, I should make one very soon. But which fringe Catholic group is calling Tom Homan the protector of America? Okay, I have a hint for you. Okay, it's anyway, I'll tell you in a second because they're one of my favorites. Okay, and then second, we have The Faithful Departing. So this is from the Tablet. This is a general article on why Catholic voters are turning away from Donald Trump, which also is extremely timely because there is becoming a shift, especially when the Pope himself is saying, you got to turn this ship around, you guys. Okay, we're going in the wrong direction. Okay, I'm just saying, if you're a Catholic, you do kind of have to follow the Pope. But then again, we do have some news this week of a group of Catholics who don't follow the Pope, and we might see a schism in the future. And I'm just going to show you who that is in a minute. Okay, another one. Was this from the Huffington Post? Yes, the Huffington Post. So, this is getting to mainstream news now, the division in the Catholic Church. J.D. Vance draws damning moral rebuke from Catholic newspaper, MAGA over Jesus. So we're going to look at that as well. Also, one of my favorite Substackers, Jim Sorensen, has written an article about Jeffrey Epstein, but also it involves the tech bros. And so if you're familiar with my work, you know that I have talked about the tech bros before and what it is, this, well, we'll look at that article because what they want is a return to, this article says, tribalism and kind of a medieval construct of feudalism. Okay. And Pope Leo, this was from Reuters. So again, another mainstream publication. Pope Leo invited to join Trump's Board of Peace, Cardinal says. So I've got some things to say about that. I think, what was it? What did I see? Was it on Stephen Colbert or Jimmy Kimmel that they were talking about this? It was choice. It was good. And then another one from the Black Catholic Messenger, A Structure of Sin, How EWTN Fuels a Distorted View of Catholic Teaching. So now we're having more people say, EWTN has been on the far right side for a long time, and they really became vocal about, I don't know, what's the word? I'm nobody. I'm merely an unlettered pie baker. So what word would I say? Dissing Pope Francis. And so now we have Pope Leo. And so we want to know, what direction is EWTN going to go in the future? And that's another good one. And also, if you don't know, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, just look in the comments and the links to all of these articles are below. So you can go ahead and just save all of those and read them later, or just stick around here just for my brief, you know, run through, but also we're going to touch on each article and just read like the first couple paragraphs and discuss, because this is huge right now. And I like I said, I was delayed in a big event in my life, and I missed so much of this. And like I said, about 9 months ago, I said people don't understand how what a deeply Catholic issue this is right now. And of course, when we're looking at what that's horrible news about the Epstein files, um, we really have to ask ourselves what place the Catholic Church um, what stance they can take when it comes to the dignity of the human person. And when you're dealing with people who, which I'll show you in a minute, who love to think about, well, what is life? Well, what is innocence? Well, what is the worth of one little girl in the grand scheme of, human history? Um, whether you're Catholic or not, or whether you're a gutter Catholic or an extra practicing good, follow every rule Catholic, or you're whatever variety of religion you are, or non-religion, it does help, I think, to have some authority in the world say, you know what, guys, this is just wrong. Um, I think as a gutter Catholic, that's exactly what should be happening, right? I think this is wrong. I do. I do think that what happened on Epstein Island is wrong. I do, because you never know. It helps. Um, and then another one from Associated Press, Pope Leo the 16th f- uh, faces a crisis. 14th, sorry, I still get that mixed up. Pope Leo the 14th faces crisis as a traditionalist group plans bishop consecrations without consent. So what we're talking about here is the Society of Pope Pius X, and they've been partially schismatic for a long time. And it looks like they're going for it now. Okay, so that's another thing that Pope Leo is going to have to deal with. Pope Leo's annoyances of the week. Okay, this, and also being invited to be on that forum. Can you imagine him sitting up there in his robes? Okay, well, that's another. Okay, and also, if you haven't heard of Pope Pius, the Society of Pope Pius X, you really need to go to Maxwell Kuzma's Substack and read Out of Time, Catholic Separatism in St. Mary's, Kansas. And that's going to tell you so much about the Society of Pope Pius X. And it's a beautifully written article. It's been one of my favorites. So all the links are in the comments right here. And then, of course, we have Jeffrey Epstein's last interview with far-right Catholic, what is he, gladiator, right? Because he wants to start a gladiator school in Italy, where young men can learn how to take back the feudalism period and be gladiators, which is not exactly historically accurate, but bygones. And his interview with Steve Bannon, where I liken it to this kind of humanistic talk of, well, what is right? Well, what is wrong? Well, what is evil? Well, what? But if you like beef, then what is wrong with veal? This kind of thought, which I have known a few people who think that way. And it's something that thank you. This is the kind of humor I rely on you. Oh my goodness. Oh, hi. You are welcome. You're in Mineola. Is that how you pronounce that? Long Island, New York. Sadly, a very red area. That's okay. You know what? We're here. It's like Horton Hears a Who. We are here. We are here. And this is what I'm talking about. We got to stay calm, you guys. We got to calm down. Okay, outrage burns like jet fuel. We got to so if I can help you with the if I can help you let me go back to the front here. And infuse some West Coast relaxedness in this, and just say, uh, you know, let's just chill out. All right, let's keep our eyes on this. Let's keep our brains on this. Let's build community. All right, we're in this for the long haul. Because honestly, how much longer are we going to let this go on. That's just, and look at us. Like, look at what we're doing already. It's okay. You guys lifted up my family. You've made a huge difference in our lives. And I'm only doing this today because I've got sorted out here. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to pay attention to what's going on. And so I hope that it just going through, and this isn't even close. I mean, I've been, very busy getting my kids stabilized and getting myself on a good schedule and sleeping again and just cooking dinner. And like I said, I am trying to make my home the most calm, boring, peaceful place in all the land. And it's working. And so, my family was thrown into crisis, but you kind of the whole nation is thrown into crisis. And so try and make your home as peaceful and calm of a place as you can. Boundaries, right? You don't have to reply to texts right away. Uh you don't have to reply to urgency right away unless it's a child in your care. And um you know, containment, right? Containment on the little fires in your life so we can all stay calm and build community. Yeah, we are building community. Yeah. You guys have helped me so much. Um, oh, good. Oh, you're so welcome. Oh, hey, Mary. How are you doing? Mary Teresa, so kind, so good to be here again. And so, yeah, we all just need to calm down. And I'm really loving the West Coast life, which is so, I mean, I spent 30 years moving around the world. And of course, I never felt at home. And then here I come back to my home. Florence, Oregon is where I'm talking to you from, and right on the coast. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm from here. This is a beautiful place. And it just feels so good to be back in my own culture with my own people, by an ocean I know. And I was born in Santa Cruz, for God's sake. I mean, I'm a West Coaster all the way through. And even my hair is responding, right? These are natural curls. Even my hair follicles are like, nah, you're like, ugh, they're just relieved. And so, yeah, I've got stuff sorted out. Things are moving very well. We're in the jurisdiction of Oregon. I'm well represented. Everything's okay. The kids are calming down. We're having good, peaceful days. And like I tell them, look, our only goal here is to have peaceful days, easy days, just breathe. Okay. And so we can all do that in the middle of whatever it is you're going through. So, and gosh, yeah, my hair is loving the sea air. It is. It is. And how are you doing, Lynn? It's good to see you again. Yeah, it's always good to go home. You know when you're home. And every day, when I get up, I almost feel like oh my gosh. Like I wake up. I mean, what we've been through is hard, yes. But I'm also, like feeling better every day. And I wake up now with this smile. It's like, oh my God, I'm home. Oh my gosh, and anyway, it feels good. And so Uh, Diane, let's see what you have to say. I live in a very MAGA community, so it's very tough to hear people in my area talk about these issues. They just find someone on the internet who agrees with them, and then they all plaster it all over my Facebook. And so I have to either unfollow or at least, very least, snooze them so I don't constantly see it. Well, that's what polarization is doing. And once that, whenever I watch Fox News, I just find it so interesting because it's totally different than everything else I'm watching that are multiple sources. And then of course, the articles I've picked today to show you, they're from mainstream news, they're from Catholic news. So definitely the Catholic issue is becoming embedded more and more in the nation. And I think, and this is why I was so thrilled when Pope Leo was elected. In fact, I laughed. I laughed out loud because I always believe that the Holy Spirit is funny, and it is funny, right? We got this American Pope. And, he can't say that it's that American issues don't relate to him. We can't say that there's a language barrier that he just doesn't understand. And so, it really is a fantastic punctuation to Pope Francis. And, I mean, it's interesting times we're living in. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad to be back. I really am. And I'm here because you guys lifted up my family. You carried us through Christmas. Every single piece of clothing I'm wearing right now was given to me. This was given to me. This fluffy blanket was given to us. You guys have carried my family. And so, all is not settled yet, but we're in a good place where now we're not in crisis mode. We're not even in high stress mode anymore. We're on containment. We're on keeping things calm and moving forward. And now even I'm doing even a little bit of like lifestyle, like, you know, planning some meals and planning on sitting out on the patio. There's my patio out there. This is my little furnished rental house that we found in Florence, Oregon. What a find. What a find. Um, and like we're good and like lifestyle stuff, like pleasure, and so it's been a real something. I am so much more relaxed. I am in every way, and I'm so glad you guys are here, and thank you so much for waiting for me through that. And I was delayed. I did not choose that. That was something else. But you know what? If anything, having 7 kids taught me and moving around the world for 30 years, it's how to triage, assess, regroup, and then start over, right? Who knows? Yeah, yeah. You've been able to find a good place to live, etc., and your family is safe. We are. We're calm, we're calm. So let's look at some articles. And so I always, let's see, share screen, share screen. Was requested bypass system. Yeah, allow. I'll allow it. These little things sometimes it takes me a minute. All right, we're going to go up to the beginning. Where did our Tom Homan article go? Well, let's just start with JD. Start with JD Vance. I'll just make sure I'm here. Make sure you guys can see it. Whoops. Add to stage. Oh, there we are. Okay. Fancy these days, all this technology. Where did my JD Vance? What a day for a daydream. Here we are. All right. This is from the Huffington Post by Lee Moran, January 28th, 2026. JD Vance draws damning moral rebuke from Catholic newspaper MAGA over Jesus. The vice president's cafeteria Catholicism must continue to be repudiated by people of faith, the opinion piece read. Okay, this is what I find so delightful about using the term cafeteria Catholic. Okay. Every gutter Catholic, every social justice Catholic, every liberal Catholic who has ever lived has been called a cafeteria Catholic at some point, or lapsed Catholic, or whatever. Practice on your own terms, Catholic. You've been called a cafeteria Catholic all as a slur. Oh, you're cafeteria Catholics. When I was in the far right side of the Catholic Church, I used to look at people and just be like, oh, well, they're a cafeteria Catholic. I only see them here on Easter, I'm not like that anymore. After all, I am a soon to be gutter Catholic divorcee. So, I'm not here being better than anybody. But I found that so delightful. Let us use, whoops, let me go back to this. What one is better? There we go. To cafeteria Catholic. Vice President J.D. Vance was accused of choosing MAGA over Jesus in a damning opinion piece published by the National Catholic Reporter this week. In the piece, the Catholic newspaper's digital editor, John Grosso, rebuked Vance's inflammatory and politicizing response to the killing of ICU nurse Alex Preddy by a Border Patrol agent in Minneapolis over the weekend. You can read the full opinion piece here. Vance said Grosso had the opportunity to call for peace and unity, to lower the temperature of the situation and express empathy with those suffering and mourning, and could have chosen to share the gospel message of healing and human dignity. But instead, he chose to offer the MAGA message of division and blame. And go ahead and go to the Huffington Post to read that article. Links are uh, the links are in the comments. And let's see, let's move on. Next one, let's look at the comments here. Holy humor comes with a twist of truth, a warm embrace of joyful hope. My Protestant immigrant from Scotland grandpa always saw the humor in the way the Holy Spirit inspired the prophets. I agree. I think that the Holy Spirit does have the best sense of humor. And actually, I was just watching the interview with Stephen Colbert and Father James Martin, and on YouTube, in the Stephen Colbert show. You should really go look at that. And they were talking about how Jesus had a sense of humor. So, I mean, I think humor is so important. I find it awesome that they are calling him a cafeteria Catholic. Yeah. Zing. I hope he realizes it isn't usually a compliment. No, it's not. No, JD Vance doesn't know who or what he is. No, he does not. JD Vance, as you know, is a new convert, and he was basically put through the pipeline of Catholicism by a couple of new Dominicans. Okay. Like I've heard from some personal contacts, there's been a real change in the Dominicans in the last 30 years. And so, yeah, JD Vance was fast tracked into the far right side of the Catholic Church. And we all see it. Anyone is like, uh-huh. Yeah. More on that later. I did a 4-hour live about how JD Vance was pulled into the far right side of the Catholic Church. And I'm going to redo that because of the nature of what's happened in my personal life. I did take down many of those videos. And I'm just going to review them. So we'll get back to that long form content where it's more like taking you on a journey, a quest. Like how J.D. Vance was pulled in and who pulled him in. And we talk about Peter Thiel, and we talk about influence of places like Hungary, Orban's Danube Institute and these things. So, yeah. Well, I call myself, oh, how are you doing? I call myself a cafe Catholic or a Catholic, and I'm fine with that. I think almost everyone is, if we're being honest. I think that's what it's supposed to be. Like, the term gutter Catholic is kind of tongue in cheek because the whole point is to be with people in our humanity, right? And not above people. Mhm. 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 I will allow this, which we must infer that the far right side of the church is not teaching the faith at all. They are teaching a perverted form of the faith and antichrist, a blasphemy. Well, I'm interested to see if what rebuttals we'll get of that, because when the far right side of the Catholic Church believes that they are practicing and perpetuating the pure and rarefied form, okay, of Catholicism. And I know this because I was in it, but I was also paying close attention. Let's see. Touche. JD is whoever Teal says he is. And mhm. Mhm. Yep. Girl, when I was a single mother with young kids, I only dressed from those bags of clothes and thrift shops. I was so happy to have them, and sometimes there were treasures inside. Yeah. I've been very blessed. I've had 4 people basically show up at my house and give me, like, a whole wardrobe. I'm getting to the point now where I have to cut down, but I do have some beautiful pieces of clothing now. I mean, I'm really grateful, and it's been a real blessing. And so, like I said last week, what we have to do, I think, as a long-term goal is build the community, but also build it to catch other women who need help. And we can do that. I know we can. I know we can figure out a way. It's like a nationwide meal train for help in distress. There's I know there's a way. And I know there's somebody who knows just what to do. I know there's somebody who just has that brain and that experience to know, oh, I know just how to do that. And also another pie in the sky dream of mine is that every community would have a food bank like the one here in Florence, Oregon, the Florence Food Share. Every community would have a food bank uh, 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 modeled off of that one because it's extraordinary. And somebody told me a few weeks ago, like, gosh, the only protein in our food bank is tuna fish, cans of tuna. Well, not here. You get to, it's so more on that later. But I mean, it's a dignified experience. They make sure that you're treated with kindness. It's really extraordinary. And so any long-term goals of mine would have to do with that kind of thing. And, um oh, oh, hey, how you doing? Jen? Organizer Jen is back. So if you were here for last week's live, you know that Organizer Jen knows my home and the inside and the inner workings of my home and family, unlike anybody else. You are like that Harry Potter character that was clothed. I haven't, paid that much attention to Harry Potter, but, they all know what you're talking about. Dobby the elf. Um, let's see. Bake cakes. I shall bake a mini cake. In fact, you know what we're gonna do sometime? It is a choice pantry. You run here in your town. That's right, you told me about that. That's wonderful. It makes such a difference. We're gonna do one day is bake in that kitchen there. Not, and, hopefully soon. But I'm just getting my energy back, and I'm just getting my, let's see, my, mm, uh, stop screen, in my workflow back. All right, let's find another article to look at. Oh my goodness, there's so much going on. There really is. Let's see. Okay. Another, let's see. Mhm. Is that it? Here it is. All right. Thank you for your patience. This is from the tablet. The faithful departing, why Catholic voters are turning away from Donald Trump. So, like, if you did vote for Trump and if you are, MAGA and you're like, I don't even, I'm not Catholic. I don't care. Well, this is a very big Catholic issue. And so I hope you can understand. And it is, a point to ponder. And this article right here is going to explain to us how, well, let me put myself back in, get back in the box, Shannon. There we go. How the Catholic Church is changing, okay, all the way from the top, from Pope Leo. They are changing the political structure of the United States as we speak, slowly and surely. Actually, when you're looking at the Catholic world, this is pretty fast because the Catholic Church moves at a glacial pace. So this is pretty fast. So this is from the tablet. And author is Stephen Schneck, published on January 22nd, The Faithful Departing, Why Catholic Voters Are Turning Away from Donald Trump. And once again, the article link is in the comments. The president owes his election to a change of heart among American Catholic voters at the 2024 election. But 1 year after his inauguration, that support is seeping away. Before the conclave last May, President Donald Trump trolled social media with an AI-generated image in which he was wearing a white papal cassock. Remember that, guys? And a demode white mitre. I don't know that word. He was 3 months into his second shift as president. One in part thanks to the significant number of Catholics who had voted for Biden in 2020, switching to Trump in 2024. No doubt his papal spoof signaled Trump's confidence in the strength of his Catholic support. After all, he had appointed Catholics to many high level positions in his administration, including his vice president and his secretary of state. Now, around the first anniversary of his inauguration, Catholic support seems to be draining away. Okay. So this is big and this is significant in the greater let's see, you could subscribe, you could continue reading, and you can click on this article through the link below. And so, whoops. And so once again, we have mainstream news and the larger world, right? Noticing that this is a very Catholic issue. Oh, have they? Oh, they've started doing the Pope outfit meme again. I saw it this morning. Are they really? Well, um, maybe do you know what they said on that, right? Um, does it have to do with anything of the Society of Pope Pius the 10th? I'm wondering about that. All righty. Let us again get a different article. I am happy to be doing this work again. Let's see here. Mhm. And just chilling out. Okay, let us look at this article from the Black Catholic Reporter. Whoops. So EWTN played a very big part in both elections. The structure of sin, how EWTN fuels a distorted view of Catholic teaching. Jack Champagne interrogates a recent political poll from the right-wing Catholic media giant, linking it to a larger program of spiritual sedition, by Jack Champagne on January 12th. And so there was a time when EWTN was a regular feature in my life. My grandmother prayed her nightly rosary alongside the network's nightly broadcast, which meant that the TV was hers from roughly 8 to 9 p.m. every night. Even now, the cadence with which I pray my own rosary is heavily influenced by that nightly broadcast, as is my tendency to say amongst women rather than among women. What beautiful reflections. EWTN ceased to feature in my life at all after my grandmother died, and with her death, my understanding of the network's identity froze in time from around the year 2000 until about 2020. This is so good. I would love it if you would click on this. I don't want to take too much of this because this is so beautifully written, and it does explore the part EWTN played. Now, when you're looking at the reaches of the far right side of the Catholic Church, which is heavily influenced by Opus Dei, right? So read Opus by Gareth Gore. You're going to see that there are many people on, the upper echelons of EWTN who are in Opus Dei and who are in the orbit of Opus Dei. And that includes the Catholic Information Center in Washington, D.C. And so if you read Opus by Gareth Gore, which you guys know, if you've known my work for any amount of time, you know that that book answered so many questions in my mind of what is it that I just lived through? And it takes you all the way back to the beginning. It's an incredible story, and it's almost distressing. I've heard from a lot of people that it is it's very distressing when you are looking at the global reach, at the intentions, at the moving towards a medieval style feudalism. Okay. And that's what I experienced. That's the ideology that I was exposed to in the far right side of the Catholic Church. Okay. What else? We did this one. Okay. Let's go on to Pope Leo here. Oops. Add to stage. Where are we? Oh, here we are. It's just gonna take a second. Here we are. Okay. So, do you guys remember when JD Vance was at the Vatican and he met Pope Leo for the first time? And they were in the reception, where they were meeting Pope Leo after the inauguration. And, he handed and he was like he brought him, like, gifts from his kids or whatever, and Pope Leo's handling it. Like, you can see, like, I know the look. Pope Leo is handling it, and JD Vance hands him an envelope, and, he just takes the envelope and he just goes and then just sets it down over here, right? He didn't open it. He didn't, he just was like, thank you very much. Set it over here, right? And this reminds me of that. This reminds me of kind of like that thank you, but and I think it must have been Stephen Colbert. They were joking about this the other day. So this is Reuters, once again, mainstream news. Pope Leo, okay. Now I want you guys just to all think about this. This is the Pope. Invited to join Trump's Board of Peace, Cardinal says, on January 21st. And the author, does it say? I don't think it says. Vatican City. Pope Leo is among world leaders invited to join U.S. President Donald Trump's Board of Peace. Cardinal Pietro Parolin, remember he was up for Pope as well. The Vatican's top diplomatic official said on Wednesday. Leo, the first U.S. Pope and critic of some of Trump's policies, is evaluating the invitation, he said. The Pope has received an invitation and we are considering what to do, which means in Vatican speak, it's not going to happen. I don't think so. Parolin told journalists, I believe it will be something that requires a bit of time for consideration before giving a response. That, I believe, is very polite Vatican language for, yes, this is true, and no, we're not going. So, what do you guys think about this? The board was initially aimed at ending the conflict in Gaza. However, Trump has said it will have a much broader remit and resolve conflicts globally. While some countries, such as Israel and Egypt, have accepted the invitation, a number of others have expressed caution, with diplomats warning it could harm the work of the United Nations. The Vatican press office did not immediately respond to a request for comment about Parolin's remarks. Interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. I will go ahead and take that off. Let's see. I would have thought it would have been a resounding hell no. I don't think they talk like that. I don't think they I think they would. It's just like what he did with the envelope from JD. He was just like, put it down over here. I think it's more bullshit from Trump. It does seem a little, it's a bit gaudy, I would say. I think the Vatican cannot join anything offered by this administration, as it always comes with strings attached. Yes. What's the word? It's presumptuous, I think. It's presumptuous. It's one of those like, have you ever known somebody who just continues to try and take a role in your life as advisor, even if you didn't ask? And it could be the simplest thing. And they're like, well, blah, 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 blah. Every conversation is blah, 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 blah. Like, I will end this conversation with me being the authority. What's it called? It's called, it's like a, I was just doing some study on it the other day because of something I'm writing for my memoir about the structure of thought that is, I'm the authority because this and this and this. Doesn't matter if they are like experts or it's you didn't vote for them and you didn't ask them to be the authority over your life, but they definitely believe that you need their help and you need their guardrails, right? And so it's kind of it makes me think like come be the and what's wrong with the Pope if he doesn't want to be on the board of peace? Okay. And then it's all this Darvo garbage that I mean, I just want us to all be prepared for the Pope to now be cast as anti-peace, okay, if he doesn't join the board of peace. This is exactly how they operate. Exactly. Thank you. The board of peace is narcissistic theater. I agree. I agree. And it's going to be so distressing to watch. Okay, everyone, we all know it's coming. Okay, we all know it's coming. Well, if he really wanted peace, if he was the vicar of Christ, who is the Prince of Peace, then he would be on the board of peace. It is all this toxic Darvo garbage. We can just, and I'm already, I'm a little stressed out even imagining because you know it's going to happen. Let's all calm down. Okay, it's going to be Darvoed around. All right. Ah. Yes, presumptuous, especially considering most of the immigrants being abused are Catholics. Indeed. Thank you for adding this. And, it's a tactic where you contain someone, you cast the narrative on the container, and then you say, but you're in this container now. I threw this party, and now you're in my party, and I'm the leader. And it's containment, not in a good way. All right. Um, it's okay. To quote one of my heroes, Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. Okay, it is a trap. Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. Mm-hmm. Let's see. As it always is. President Trump's peace board is just another smokescreen, not real, pretending to support peace while constantly threatening other countries with war. So if they do not do what Trump wants, what a freaking shit show. Excuse the language. Girl, don't worry about it. No one with half a brain believes any of this crap. It is to quote, like I said, I need Admiral Akbar like sticker or something. I need an Admiral Akbar piece of like graphics. It's a trap. Okay. Don't go. It is a trap. The Holy See has a permanent seat at the United Nations. Yes. And so it's just that it's almost like creating another group that already is long established and then saying, but we have this group now. It's almost like, yeah, it's a little usurpery. I don't know. That's just for the feeling I get. Mm-hmm. Of course, they operate by trying to make people look bad by these disingenuous invitations. Yes. Don't you like peace? Aren't you for peace, Pope Leo? Aren't you? Then you should join the board of peace. And if you don't join the board of peace, and then Tom Homan, since he's now the savior of all America, is going to say, as a Catholic, I'm so disappointed in that. He hasn't said this. Okay, I'm, using my imagination that he didn't join the board of peace, which means he doesn't want peace, which means the Pope is the enemy. Okay, let's all wait for it. Let's all calm our nervous systems and wait for it. And when it happens, we can say, oh, yes, that was predictable. Oh, and don't forget the $1 billion buy-in. What, for the board of peace? Yeah. Too often, MAGA, TradCath, which would be the far right side, traditional Catholics, and fundamentalist Protestants only see face value of things on how they process. Trump knows that. It's because it's easy. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it's because it's easy and it's like, well, we can get back to a happy time if we just do this. It'll be easy. Yes, another divisive tactic. In the voice of Ursula from The Little Mermaid, it won't cost much, just your soul. Good. Touche. The Board of Peace is anything but peace. Wasn't he called the President of Peace as well? But he's the President of Peace. Oh my goodness, what a rabbit hole. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Let's see what else is going on out there since we started talking about Pope Leo. So Pope Leo has got he's got this going on and he's doing, let's see. I think let's go down here. Oh, here's Tom Homan. Oh, you guys. I mentioned this one to you earlier, but this is too good. All right, here I found it. Fringe MAGA Catholic group crowns U.S. border czar Tom Homan, protector of America. Okay, now which fringe Catholic group is this? And I'm going to tell you who. It's Catholics for Catholics. Okay, I just want to here. I just want to talk to you for a second here before we go on this. So Catholics for Catholics. I mean, just the name alone is enough to make you go, what? As gutter Catholics, gutter Catholics are for all humans, right? Your job is to just go out and serve the poor and be a good person and stand for the least of these, right? Catholics for Catholics turns that around, okay? As a gutter Catholic, even the name Catholics for Catholics. Now, if you didn't know, Catholics for Catholics is relatively new, and they actually have done masses at Mar-a-Lago, and Bishop Strickland is their guy, and we're gonna have to talk about Bishop Strickland another time. Like you guys know, if you were around in the spring and the summer, I can do this for hours. Okay, I think our longest live was like 4 hours and 20 minutes, right? Because there is so much here, okay, and to understand what is going on, you follow every little thread. Who's this guy? Well, who's that guy? Who's that? Who Catholics for Catholics? So Catholics for Catholics did a mass at Mar-a-Lago, and I got to bring that back up. I gotta show you the photos of it, and they believe in a pure rarefied form of Catholicism where it's hardline, and they're not pleased with Pope Francis. They're not pleased with Pope Leo, and they are doing everything they can now to let it be known that they believe border czar Tom Homan is actually a protector of America. So they're contradicting the Pope as we speak. Okay, so I guess if there's any theme of the day, it is the burgeoning possibility of a schism in the future. And many people have said, oh, Pope Leo should excommunicate JD Vance, and Pope Leo should just let these communities, I just say schiz out. But I actually don't believe that. I think and Pope Francis and Pope Leo are doing everything they can to be diplomatic, right? Because a schism would not be good. And my question about Trump, dressed as the Pope again, being in these. All right, sorry, I'll get off. Talk here. My question: if you saw the far right Catholics or anybody sharing this image of Trump as the Pope again, I don't know. It might have something to do with that. And sometimes I see a comment. Yeah, yeah. Mass at Mar-a-Lago. Wow. And so this is somebody from YouTube, and then somebody from Facebook. Yeah. Wow. Masses at Mar-a-Lago. Talk about sacrilegious. What did they have in the service? Did they have a lady in the champagne glass? Or mermaids in the aisle? Can you just imagine the clientele that frequent Trump's mini brothel must have had no clue what was going on? Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. I think it was interesting. Oh, uh-huh. Uh-huh. All right. Thank you so much for it. My parents, who were devout Catholics, would not allow anyone to mention Pope Francis or Leo to even be mentioned in their house. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And so, I mean, it really is a theme of our times, the division in the Catholic Church, and so I hope that any of this is helping you understand that. And, okay, let's read this article now. All right, Tom Homan. Just we'll read a little bit of it, just a little bit, because I really want you to go click, okay, by John Grosso. In its latest I just love how he goes straight in. In its latest act of sacrilege, the nationalist group Catholics for Catholics is presenting U.S. border czar Tom Homan with he's getting an award. It's a major award, you guys. This is the leg lamp. This is the leg lamp of our times, okay? The major award, the Protector of America Award. It's a fragile, okay? It's a major award. The award is to be presented January 22nd by conspiracy theorist, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, and will feature a blessing from the removed, disgraced. Remember, I was just talking about Bishop Joseph Strickland, formerly of Tyler, Texas. Oh, and by the way, chef's kiss for all of you from Tyler, Texas, who reached out to me a few months ago, giving me all kinds of information. I mean, I'm telling you what, it's delightful. Strickland was fired from his position as the leader of the Diocese of Tyler by Pope Francis in 2023. He once posted on Twitter that Francis was undermining the deposit of faith. He has also called synodality garbage and endorsed a video that attacked Francis as a diabolically sorry. I'm sorry. He endorsed a video that attacked Pope Francis, as a diabolically disordered clown. According to the Catholics for Catholics event website, the blessing is given under the intercession and protection of Our Lady of Guadalupe, patroness of the Americas, in recognition of rescuing 62,000 migrant children from human trafficking and restoring law and order in America. Oh, wow. There is no evidence that the Trump administration sorry. I did not realize this is going to read so beautifully. There is who is it? Grosso? Yeah, we like you. Okay. There is no evidence. There is no evidence that the Trump administration rescued more than 62,000 migrant children. There is no evidence or credence to the claim that Homan restored law and order in America. Crime in the U.S. has been gradually decreasing since 2021, a factor that experts say is related to the nation's recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, I'll read one more paragraph. I really want you guys to click on this. Gosh, this is good. This is delightful. But Catholics for Catholics doesn't let the facts get in the way of a good story. President and CEO John Yep, we need to do a feature on him, claimed that Trump was the rightful winner of the 2020 presidential election and proclaimed Trump to be the only Catholic option during the 2024 presidential election. Okay, this is, you guys, okay, if there's anything that you click on today, it's got to be this, because it is chef's kiss. I have to read the first line over again. Okay, the first line, in its latest act of sacrilege. Okay, look, what I find so delightful about this is that no one is being like, some people might say, it starts with, in its latest act of sacrilege. It goes right in. Okay, that's it. That's where we are now. Yeah. Oh, well, good point. Yes. Oh my God. Using Our Lady of Guadalupe for an award to anyone involved in Homeland Security seems blasphemous and more than a tad ironic. Yeah, it's more of that Darvo garbage. What, don't you love the Our Lady of Guadalupe? Don't you love her? Well, then you need to blah, 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 blah. You need to kick them out. You need to it's just more of this backwards yeah, I'll just leave that right there. No, Trump is not a Catholic. No, he is not. JD Vance is. But it's all of this posturing and positioning to reach Catholic voters. Catholic voters are very powerful. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're abusing Our Lady's children as we speak. Yep. Yepper, just like the book 1984, except they called it the Ministry of Peace. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Okay. So I think we're almost done here. Where am I? Oh, it's been an hour. Time flies. Time flies. Okay. Let's see. I think we are going to now just go really quickly into the Society of Pope Pius X. And will there be a schism? Now, if you don't know, let's see, let me find it. Yep. Hold on. If you, there we are. Wait, no, it's not it. This is it. You don't know. Okay, if you're new to all of this, a schism is an official breaking in the Catholic Church. So when Henry VIII left the Catholic Church and created the Church of England, that was a schism. Okay. And of course it goes on and on and on. There have been many schisms in the church. I have a graphic that I used about 10 months ago. I should find it again. And some of them created the Oriental Catholic Church. Some of them created the Russian Orthodox Church, right? That was the Great Schism of 1054 when the Russian Church broke off from Rome, or they went like this, right? They each had their own pope, and it was like dueling popes for a while, right? The Great Schism of 1054, that was that one. And so, the Catholic Church views schism as a very, very serious thing. And in this day and age, I think, maybe it's far-fetched. I certainly have my theories on the Russian Orthodox branch, especially since Putin is now very far into with Patriarch Kirill, who is the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, and Putin is a KGB guy, and the KGB greatly used the Russian Orthodox Church, and was all in there, right? But a schism is no small thing, and especially when you're dealing with a climate like this, and you've got people who I think, and what I learned is that they want the Crusades back, which is holy war, right? With Christians on top. Okay. Christendom is one world religion. They're not joking around when they talk about that. Okay. And so when you look at the possible schism, it is no small thing. And the implications could last hundreds of years or longer. Where are we? Let me go back here. Okay. Pope Leo XIV faces crisis as a traditionalist group plans bishop consecrations without consent. Now, this is what put the Society of Pope Pius X in partial schism, okay? And now they're going for it. They're going all the way now, okay? So this is on Associated Press. So once again, mainstream news, and this is by Nicole Winfield. Pope Leo XIV is facing his first major crisis the word major crisis, that's accurate. Okay, so that's why I wanted to show this to you, because it is something to keep an eye on. Major crisis with traditionalist Catholics. A breakaway group attached to the traditional Latin Mass announced plans to consecrate new bishops without papal consent in a threatened revival of schism. The Swiss based Society of St. Pius X, which has schools, chapels, and seminaries around the world, has been a thorn in the side of the Holy See for 4 decades. Founded in opposition to the modernizing reforms of the 1960s Second Vatican Council. In 1988, the group's founder, Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre, consecrated 4 bishops without papal consent. This was when they became partially schismatic. Arguing that it was necessary for the survival of the church's tradition, the Vatican promptly excommunicated Lefebvre and the 4 other bishops, and the group today still has no legal status in the Catholic Church. Okay, so, and this is what I want the MAGA Catholics to know. All right, I'm not here to tell anyone to F off. I already did that, okay? When you are looking at the far right side of the Catholic Church, okay, let me just explain very calmly, okay, what they want. They want pre-Vatican II doctrine to rule the land. Do you know what that means? Okay, that means no birth control. That means no fault divorce. That means no divorce. Okay, that means all kinds of things, right? About the human body, about regulations over your body, even birth control. Okay, that means no homosexuality. That means homosexuality punishable by law. Do you guys understand? This is what I'm trying to say. And so when you are looking at where does this thread lead, right? Where does the Catholics for Catholics lead? Where does the Bishop Joseph Strickland's lead, right? Where does the Tom Homan, if the far right side of the Catholic Church wants Tom Homan to be the, the savior of America, where is the end goal of this? Why can't we all just get along? This is why. Okay. And so that's what I've been trying to say for so long. Okay. They really want dominion over your life, over your body, over your choices, over the lives of your daughters, over the lives of your sons, because they believe in Christendom, one world religion. Okay. And also a world order where everyone follows these rules. Okay, that's what I heard. That's what I heard in the far right circles of the Catholic Church. This is the goal. Okay, and this is what the MAGA Catholicism. I believe that so many people are in MAGA were Reagan Republicans, and they have just gone down the line. Oh, okay, this. Oh, well, this makes sense. This makes sense. We don't believe in big government. We want this. We want this, and they get caught up, and then they watch Fox News, and then everyone misses the point of what these people are, their long game goal. Okay. What I heard in closed circles was that I was at my recruiter's house. I was being recruited into the far right side of the Catholic Church in the orbit of Opus Dei, right? And it was 26 years ago. And we were talking about the evils of the world. Okay, all of it. You know how people bond over talking about everything that's wrong? That's what this was. And the brother of my recruiter said, well, none of this is going to matter when we finally get a Catholic king. Okay. And many of you have heard this story before, and I just want to tell it again. When we finally get a Catholic king. And I remember going like that, because I had never heard a Catholic king in America. I had never heard those words. Now, the founder and producer of the podcast, Right Straight Catholic Jesus, you guys know that he is publishing a book about that, the monarchical designs, and also how the tech bros fit in and all of this. So I'm just saying, it's just something to start learning about, because it's happened. This is where their division is. Yeah, manly men. Yeah, manly men. And yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Thank you. It is part of their overall desire to put women back in the house without voting rights, credit, professions, etc. Yes. And I am just, I am rebuilding my financial footprint. Um it was only 2 months ago. Was that December? It was about 9 weeks ago that I couldn't sign a lease to this house I'm renting, right? Post separation, after coming back to the United States with my 3 minor children. I did not have the financial standing or even existed on paper enough to rent this house in my own name. I had to have my parents co-sign with me. I'm 50 years old. Okay? That's serious. That makes a serious difference in your life when you don't have a financial world of your own. You don't exist on paper. Okay? So I part of my memoir in real time, The Gutter Catholic Goes Home, I'll put a link, um, is talking about how I'm rebuilding my financial world. I'm rebuilding myself on paper, and it's very serious. It's very, very serious. This is after 30 years of supporting my husband's career, raising 7 children, all of this. And, yeah, yeah. If you don't have a social safety net to fall into, which in Germany I did not, okay? In my hometown of Florence, Oregon, I do. You are really in trouble, okay? Okay, so alrighty. I want to show you one more thing. Well, not one more thing. I want to, if you want to know more about the Society of Pope Pius X, you need to read this article. Let's see, out of time. And I have shared this before. Of course, it's been so long since I have done this. This is my first like actual working session since July. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, it's good to be back. Okay. So, you need to go to Substack, Maxwell Kuzma. Max is a trans man Catholic. You need to, where am I here? I'm trying to find it. That's not it. Where are we? There we are. You need to read his Substack, Emma and Max Cieslik, Emma Cieslik. And I was interviewed on their podcast a few months ago, and we are where am I? And I am hoping to get the bandwidth back to do interviews and to be on interviews soon. I mean, probably not for another month or two, because this is all new for me still after everything. But this is an excellent and beautifully written, oh my goodness, is it ever beautifully written, article on the Society of Pope Pius X in St. Mary's, Kansas. And this is their cathedral they built. And also, just incidentally, this was funded. They have a munitions plant in St. Mary's, Kansas called Angel Fire Munitions. And so a lot of the funding came from this munitions plant. And also, I don't know if you guys remember, but the immigrant priest that was killed, was it back in April of 25? He, oh boy, you know, he was slain, and so much has gone on in my life. I haven't been keeping up with that case, but his alleged killer may there's indications that he had links to this far right community. Okay, yeah, so on the plains of Kansas, rising out of the wheat and wind, stands a vision of another age, a towering 12-story traditionalist Catholic church that holds 1,500 people and is crowned by a 12-foot statue of Mary gilded in gold. 1,500 people in a church is a lot. This place is huge. So if you're looking at these doors, I mean, people look like little mice compared to these doors. That's how big this is. Inside, the air is thick with incense. The men arrive in suits and ties, while the women glide past in long skirts and lace mantillas. That used to be me. Shepherding broods of children dressed in jumpers and starched collars. At the altar, the priest whispers in Latin prayers of a mass that most American Catholics no longer recognize. His back turned to the congregation as a golden thurible sends, I don't know how to say that, sends, the tea strainer sends sweet clouds of smoke curling toward the vaulted ceiling. You must read this. It's so beautifully written, but it explains the community. It explains the beliefs of this community in St. Mary's, Kansas, and there are other communities in the United States that are fully traditionalist Catholic, and we're talking about pre-Vatican II. Okay, if you are a MAGA Catholic, all right, I don't want to fight, but I want to ask you: do you believe your daughters deserve birth control? Okay, do you believe your daughters get to decide how they live? Do you? Do you believe that somebody should be able to get divorced? I'm just asking, okay, because this is not just a question of economics. This is not just a question of who's allowed to do what. All right, it's not just a question of who's allowed to be on swimming teams. This is much, much deeper, and there are and the far right side of the Catholic Church, and we're gonna have to talk about Leonard Leo another day and the Supreme Court, but we are looking at a long-standing plan, a well-funded billions and billions of dollars to bring back these old beliefs, and because they believe it will fix everything, okay? They believe if they don't allow divorce, it will make things better. If they believe that a man can't divorce his wife or a woman can't leave her husband, they think that'll make the man better, that he'll rise to the occasion, okay? They believe that if birth control is outlawed, that people will commit themselves to parenting in a more pure and sincere way, okay? This is what they believe. I'm just saying, all right? So, okay, that's it. And I know because I was on the insides of these circles. Okay. So go and look at that. Another article that is linked in the comments. All righty. So, what is it? I had something quite snarky to show you. And are we all okay? Are we okay to see that mug of Jeffrey Epstein? Now, this is gonna be tough. I'm not gonna be able to watch this very long, but there's one thing I wanted to point out to you. Talking like this with your fingers like this and making gestures, like talking like does not a genius make, okay? And this is Jeffrey Epstein in his last interview with Steve Bannon. Okay. And as you know, or you should, Steve Bannon is a Catholic, a thrice divorced Catholic. Now, as a Catholic who is going to be soon divorced, I'm not going to cast judgment on the thrice divorced Steve Bannon. But it does give one pause, doesn't it? Because the far right side of the Catholic Church does not want any divorce ever, 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 not for any reason at all. So it makes you wonder, what is Steve Bannon actually thinking? Or does he like that he can stoke these flames, right? Does he like that it gives him an audience? And it really is a vast audience of people who are true believers, who really believe bringing Christendom back, meaning one world religion with Christians on the top, is their long-term goal. And I'm talking like a 300, 400-year plan. Mhm. Mhm. Mm. Mm. I had a friend who has been in an abusive marriage for over 20 years. She's into these circles and won't leave him. He turned her kids against her. I had to cut off contact because it was too painful. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. One world religion. One world religion being that everyone being forced to practice in the same manner. Yes. Yes. And those who don't get sent to Jesus. Yep. Bannon is repugnant. Uh-huh. Yeah. Steve Bannon seems to get plenty of hall passes with that group. Yes, he does indeed. These dudes are wannabe philosophers. Yes. And so I want you, and maybe we can read just a little bit or watch just a little bit of this to see this kind of thinking like, but what is evil? But what is life? But what is life? They like to toss around these ideas of good and evil and right and wrong as if they are practitioners of who decides who lives and dies. It's just, thank you so much for adding this. Steve Bannon's father. Oh boy, yeah. Steve Bannon's father was the dean principal of an expensive New York City private school who hired Epstein as a 21-year-old teacher without a college education. Yes. Steve Bannon was about 15 at the time and called the guy creepy. My, how times have changed. Yes. And Steve Bannon's father also wrote a space opera about it was like a novel, a novelette, right? About sexual slavery and all kinds of little topics. And yes, yeah. Sadly the abuse escalates, yeah. Never let a man manage your money. Are they still allowed separation? I don't know. I think it just depends. And I had a woman write to me a few months ago. She talked about, and I'll find her letter again because she did give me permission to read it, and I did make a little video on it, but that was when my social media reach was much smaller. She talked about her experience with the Tradition, Family, and Planning far-right group in Catholicism. There are many, many fringe far-right groups. Tradition, Family, and Property, right? And really sad how it became just a game of coercive control, of domination. So let's read about, or let's watch just however much we can stomach here. Okay. Okay. This is by The Sun. The moment grinning Jeffrey Epstein quizzed about being a sexual predator in bombshell new video.
I'm the lowest. You're the lowest. Okay, tier 1, you're the lowest. But a criminal.
Yes.
Is your money dirty money?
If you live,
I just asked a question. Is your money dirty money?
No, it's not. So, in fact,
why is it not dirty money?
Because I earned it.
But you earned it. We went back to this before. You earned it. You earned it advising the worst people in the world, right? That do enormous bad things, and just to make more money.
So, instead of asking me the question, should you take the money? Because I think it's a legitimate question.
You think it's a legitimate question?
Yes, no question. Because I think ethics is always a complicated subject, but I can tell you that with the money I gave to help try to eradicate polio in Pakistan and India, instead of asking me whether that money should be given to these children for vaccines, I think you might want to ask their mothers who received the vaccine, who know their child now won't get polio.
I can't do it anymore. Honestly, I feel sick right now. You see what I mean, though, right? Ethics is complicated, is it? Is ethics complicated? Oh, I can't do it anymore. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was Bill Barr. It was Bill Barr. No, that's right. Steve Bannon. Bill Barr's father. I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah. Yep. 100%. Oh, yes. Are you talking about the Society of Pope Pius X or Tradition, Family, and Property? The far side of Catholicism is extremely Eurocentric. They want lords and ladies, right? With ivory skin. Yeah, for sure. Never let a man manage my money. Thank you to my granny's advice. Mm-hmm. Why this isn't blaring in news programs is beyond me. It goes to show the many layers of this. Well, independent media. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Tradition, family, and property is very racist, especially towards indigenous people. Thank you. I've noticed the threat of racism in through the far right side of the Catholic Church for sure. Yeah, exactly. Ethics is complicated. Is it, Jeffrey Epstein? Is it? I can't even believe he utters the word ethics, but that's what he does, right? Ethics is not debatable, period. You either are ethical or you're not. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, SSPX isn't much better. Actually, they're very anti-Semitic. Yes, they are. I encountered a lot of anti-Semitism also in the far right side of the Catholic Church. I mean, shockingly so. I was like, what? What do you... Yeah. Yeah, for sure. There's one more thing I was going to show you. And so speaking of independent journalism, I mean, honestly, I got to go stand in the sunshine to, bleach the Epstein cooties off my brain. I gotta go to the beach now. Okay. I gotta get some fresh air. That sickened me. Okay. Oh, and by the way, Melinda Gates is starting to talk. All right. She's starting, and she does say, well, Bill, her ex-husband is going to have to answer questions. She can't answer for him, but she is starting to talk. And I don't know if you've seen that clip of Melinda Gates saying like how she was so like physically sick in his presence, physically sick. And so if you ever feel that, don't second guess yourself. Okay. All right. I wanted to show you. Aha. So speaking of independent journalism, here's a favorite of mine. And when I was just beginning this work, which I came upon accidentally, right? I'm a nobody. But I found Jim Stewartson's work, and I was like, all right, I'm not the only one who was like, holy shit, what's going on? Okay. And there are many other people like me who are like, oh, I get this, and then this connected to this, and this is connected to this, right? Hopefully I can interview all of them now that, I'm on, getting things sorted out here in my own life. But let us look if you're not on Substack yet, you really need to be, because this is where all the independent journalists are. And it's where my memoir in real time is. And so Jim Stewartson, you really need to follow him on Substack. The big reveal, it was Epstein's psyop all along. Trump's paranoia about the files is not about his sexual deviance. It's because they prove he's a loser. The big reveal, was it Epstein's psyop all along? On June 26th, I'm not going to read much of this because I really want you to go follow Jim on Substack. On June 26, 2016, during the thick of the U.S. presidential campaign, infamous Jeffrey Epstein triumphantly emailed oligarch Peter Thiel. Oh, there's Peter Thiel. We really have to talk about him some more, about Brexit, the shocking result that separated the UK from the EU, a result ensured by Cambridge Analytica, which went on to help Trump. Epstein, Brexit, just the beginning. Thiel, of what? Epstein, return to tribalism. Okay, you guys remember what I was saying about feudalism, right? About an old medieval style of governance? A return to tribalism, counter to globalization, amazing new alliances. You and I both agreed zero interest rates were too high. And I said in your office, finding things on their way to collapse was much easier than finding the next bargain. So you can read more of this, but okay, Epstein was articulating the core deviance, nihilism, and arrogance of the techno-fascist movement embodied in people like Thiel, Musk, and J.D. Vance. So the techno-fascists, so you have to follow Jim Stewartson because he talks a lot about the oligarchs and the techno-fascists, right? Curtis Yarvin, he mentions him here. And sold to the masses through false prophets like Curtis Yarvin. It is a distillation of the immorality at the bottom of the dark enlightenment, okay? The dark enlightenment, destroy it all and profit by picking through the wreckage. But Epstein was no mere observer. He was the chief orchestrator of the seditious conspiracy to destroy Hillary Clinton and get his old friend and grape partner, Donald Trump, elected to the presidency. So go follow him on Substack. If you should be on Substack, because that's where so many independent reporters are. And I mean, it all leads, all roads of everything we're talking about lead to the techno-fascists and the oligarchs. Okay. And you guys know, if you followed my work for a long time, I'm like, this is praxis. This network states that they want. They want to rebuild. They want tribalism. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. And I'm still just getting back to this. Okay. And hopefully I'll be able to do more of this. Oh, you did. Joyce, good job. I sat next to a Catholic MAGA priest going to Italy. I read him the Riot Act. Yeah. Look, the MAGA Catholics think it's just about abortion. Okay. There's so much more going on here. All right. JD Vance is a shapeshifter. He is indeed. He is indeed. James Donald Bowman. I am going to have to go. I'm getting a phone call that I need to take, but I have so enjoyed spending time with you today. And yeah. Thank you for bringing this up. No, they just want men to be able to send their wives to mental institutions if they disagree with them. One thing that I've noticed, I'll just say this really quick. The group of former trad wives, which I guess would include me now, who are saying, okay, so all of these, like the Joe Webbins, we'll talk about him another time. All these people who are like, you have to be submissive women and blah, 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 blah. Boy, I mean, I've got so many books in my brain. I got a lot of books to write. I got a lot of talking to talk. But these people who are talking about wives submitting to their husbands, the now former trad wives, and I hope to interview all of them and get in touch with everybody now that I'm feeling a little better. The question is, what if they don't submit? What then? What happens? And so, yeah, it wasn't that long ago when a man could just send his wife to a mental institution if she didn't agree with him. Clearly, she's out of her mind, right? Clearly a danger to herself and others if she just didn't agree with him. Oh, good. Knitting and listening. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much. I will enjoy the ocean. I love the Pacific Ocean. Yes, it was right. It's okay. Girl, don't worry about it. It was Bill Barr. Father Donald Barr was a headmaster of the Dalton School. That's right. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. And you know what? We're just going to stay calm, right? We're just talking here. Freedom of speech. That's it. Yeah. We're just going to keep things calm. Thank you, George. We're just going to keep things calm, carry on. Got to take care of ourselves. Got to take care of our peoples. All right. Build community. Stay calm. Keep reading. If you want to, I all these articles are in the captions. Follow some independent journalists on Substack. And you know what? There are many people. There are many, many peoples. Okay. And we still are a nation of peoples. Mm-hmm. Thanks so much, everyone. I super appreciate you being here. This is my first actual real presentation since July. And yeah, stay calm and talk on. That's right. Build community where you are. Maybe a focus on local community, local government is the place to start. Okay. Because it seems that everyone enjoys national level politics like they do football. Can they really play football? No, but everyone has something to say. But maybe, kind of a grassroots beginning back at local politics would make a difference. Okay. So maybe we can help people get more emboldened to be in their city council and be someone who drops casseroles off at people's houses. And this entire community has lifted my family up and brought us so many things. I can't thank you enough. So everyone take care. And my next chapter of my memoir in real time will be published on Sunday, as always. And we're going to talk more about dignity, calm, and that memoir, it writes itself, right? It's just my real life. That's all. And I can't thank you enough for all your help and support. So hopefully I'll be back once a week for this kind of thing. And then as time goes on, I'll be able to do more, like, go deep into the rabbit hole of, JD Vance and Peter Thiel and all, like I used to do, because that was so fun. And then also we can get some people here to talk with me. Okay. Do interviews and all that business. And also we can't cooking, right? Because I got that precious little kitchen over there, and we could do that too. So all in good time as I and my children just recover from a great deal of upheaval. And yeah, God bless us, everyone. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.